After the initial run-in, the main aspects of the long jump are the takeoff, the flight, and the landing. In each of these phases, there are numerous different techniques that long jumpers employ in different combinations in order to develop a style that maximizes their own physical potential and personal preference. The takeoff is one of the most technically demanding phases of the long jump. Athletes must be careful to place the leading foot very flat on the ground, because jumping off the heel or the toes will negatively affect the jump. If the athlete takes off from the board heel first, this has a braking effect, which slows the athlete and can put serious strains their joints. Jumping off the toes can decrease stability, and puts the leg at risk of buckling or collapsing from underneath the jumper due to the foot not being able to absorb much energy from the jump. While foot placement is important, the athlete must also maintain proper body position, which involves keeping the torso upright and moving the hips forward and up to achieve the maximum distance from board contact to foot release. There are four main styles of takeoff that athletes can implement: the kick style, double arm style, sprint takeoff, and the power sprint or bounding takeoff. Kick. The kick style takeoff involves the athlete actively cycling the leg before a full impulse has been directed into the board and then landing into the pit. Double arm. The double arm style of takeoff can be achieved by moving both arms in a vertical direction as the competitor takes off. This takeoff technique raises the athlete's center of gravity and produces a high hip height and a large vertical impulse. Sprint. The sprint takeoff is probably the most commonly taught takeoff method. This takeoff involves a classic single-arm action that resembles a jumper in full stride. It is a good takeoff style to help maintain velocity through the takeoff phase. Power sprint or bounding. The power sprint or bounding takeoff is similar to the sprint style, but with one major difference. The arm that pushes back on takeoff, the arm on the side of the takeoff leg, fully extends backward, rather than remaining in a bent position. This additional extension can work to increase the athlete's impulse at takeoff. Action in the air and landing. There are three main flight techniques for the long jump: the hang, the sail, and the hitch kick, each technique set to counteract the forward rotation experienced from takeoff. Similar to if you throw a basketball forward, even if it is not spinning, it will start to spin when it hits the ground. Once the body is airborne, there is little that the athlete can do to change their direction and consequently where they will land in the pit. However, certain techniques can influence an athlete's landing position. For example, if athletes land feet first but fall back because they did not do enough in the air to counter their rotation, they will achieve a lower jump distance. Sail. The sail technique is one of the easiest long jump techniques. After the takeoff phase is complete, the jumper immediately lifts the legs into a toe-touching position. This allows the body to sail in the air, effectively maintaining the momentum achieved by the takeoff. Hang. The hang technique is achieved by lengthening the body to make it as efficiently long as possible. Here both the arms and legs are stretched out as far as possible. This position is held until after the jumper reaches the apex of the jump, at which point the athlete will snap the legs forward into a landing position. This technique enables the athlete to slow their rotational momentum through the air, like a ballerina spins slow with their arms stretched rather than tucked in, and then impart a forward thrust at the end of their jump and position themselves for a good landing. Hitch kick. The hitch kick, which is also known as climbing, or running in the air, is a technique that involves cycling the arms and legs during the flight in order to actively counteract the athlete's rotational velocity. Although it can be very effective, it is also hard to implement and is generally considered the most complex technique. Landing. When landing, the athlete's main objective is not to fall backward in the landing pit. The jump is measured from the location in which the body contacts the sand closest to the takeoff point. This is why most jumpers work hard to keep their feet in front of the body, and upon landing, they will often use their arms in a forward sweeping motion in order to keep the legs up and the body forward. They may also push their legs hard into the sand and rotate the body sideways. This slows the downward momentum of the bottom and also rotates it to the side of the athlete, which ensures that the body stays forward of their feet. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ding that bell, and check out our other videos.